We know the price of silver has been struggling lately, but what can we learn when we look at the world's largest institutional investor about the future price of silver? We're going to take 10 minutes to talk about this because one of you brought up a great point. I was talking earlier about BlackRock, again, the world's largest institutional investor. In their outlook on inflation, they think inflation is over. That is good for the price of silver. Absolutely, no doubt about it. But we also know that BlackRock bought a large amount of physical silver not too long ago through the PSLV Sprott ETF. Guys, we got to follow what the big guys are doing, right? But then someone brought up, what about Bitcoin, right? Because now we know that BlackRock is starting a Bitcoin ETF, and the CEO of BlackRock has actually been out on the big major news outlets, CNBC, Fox Business, all that, touting the benefits of Bitcoin. And I want to point out to you something very, very important, okay? And that is the only reason he's doing that is for money. What they're talking about, they can make money by selling shares of the Bitcoin ETF. They'll make money off transactions. They'll make money off it one way or the other. So we can listen to what they talk about, but what is the company doing with their own money when it comes to silver? And we know two things. Number one, we know they've bought physical silver through the Sprott Physical Silver ETF, PSLV. That's so important, guys, right? That's what they're doing, not what they're saying. It's like when we talk about this world central banks, the world's most sophisticated financial institutions. What are they doing? They're buying gold. Don't listen to what they say. Listen and look and observe what they're doing. What is BlackRock doing? Buying physical silver. That's a big key that we need to remember. People get worried about, oh, well, no, now they're supporting Bitcoin. No, they're only saying that because they can make money off of their Bitcoin ETF. What they're doing with their money is buying silver. What they're saying, what their CIO, their chief investment officer, is saying is that he sees inflation slowing. What do you think is going to happen when inflation slows? Yeah, you know what's going to happen. The price of the metals is going to skyrocket. Does that make sense then that they'd be starting to allocate some of the company's funds into physical silver? People were shocked when that happened, but we got to scratch our heads. We got to think about, read between the lines. These big companies, they didn't get to be the world's biggest institutional investor by telling everybody exactly the truth about what they're doing and why they're doing it. They got to be there by being cunning. So we need to watch what they're doing. Now, we got something else super interesting to talk about. I only have a few more minutes, but this was another one that I had to talk about with you. And it totally, I think, shows us, again, like we're reading between the lines. We're seeing the forest through the trees, right? You're a little bit of a deeper thinker, somebody who wants to analyze what's going on. So I have this question for you, okay? Bear with me here. Bear with me, because this is a good one. This comes from Reuters, okay? And they say the U.S. economy is in uncharted waters as inflation falls with low unemployment. Uncharted waters. Yes, and we've talked about that, how screwed up the system is, how confusing everything is right now. Lynette Zhang and I talked about that a few weeks back. She said she thinks that's because we're likely near the end. I don't know, right? Here, Washington, U.S. Federal Reserve officials are in uncharted waters with no clear historical guide as they set monetary policy in an environment with inflation falling, but no increase as yet in the unemployment rate. So inflation's falling, but the unemployment rate's not falling. They're coming out with this study, right, from the Richmond Fed, said in a new research note analyzing central bank rate cycle they deemed unlike any other. We're in uncharted water. They're using terms like unlike any other. Yeah, that's right. because they've manipulated and thrown so much duct tape and bubble gum on the system that now we're in this position where things aren't making sense. Well, it's not just you and me that things aren't necessarily making sense to. It's also the people at the Fed. Oh, the current rate episode sees us in uncharted waters. Again, they repeat that, with the Fed facing the largest ever gap between inflation and the target federal funds rate when officials started tightening monetary policy in 2022. So basically what they're saying now is the Fed doesn't know what to do. Right? We're in uncharted waters. The Fed has no idea what to do. That's because they've manipulated the system to the point where things don't react. The system doesn't react the way that it should. I'll be out in 2 minutes, okay? They're coming to get me. I really only have 2 more minutes, but this was so important. I wanted to get it out to you. When we hear the Fed themselves saying we're in uncharted territory, we don't know what's going on. What does that tell us? The Fed themselves are saying this. Oh, sure, the economy's strong. Well, is it so strong? The only reason the economy's strong, quote unquote, is maybe because our government is spending $1.4 trillion more every single year than they're bringing in. They're racking up debt. They're spending $1.4 trillion. Hey, thank you, Ron McAdams. Thanks for the super chat. Totally unexpected, but very much appreciated. They're spending $1.4 trillion more, and all they can get is 2.4% growth. That's all the lemon, that's all the juice they can squeeze out of that lemon. Are you kidding me? Right? And we got all this paper money, electronic money floating around. Soon we'll have CBDCs floating around where they can instantly move quote unquote money. It's not really money. It's just make-believe nothing, digits, paper, right? Oh, yeah, everything's great. I still go back. I go back to what BlackRock's doing, buying physical silver, right? I do what BlackRock is saying. Now we've got inflation coming down and the economy slowing at the same time. But unemployment still, I mean, it's so screwed up. The only clarity that I can see through all this, right? I'm trying to think of the good word, the base, the real, what's real? What's real? Is that a good way to say it? Out of all this are things like gold, silver. Thank you, Darcy. Wow. Yeah, I only have 2 more minutes. We're leaving for dinner in like 3 minutes, but I wanted to get this out. The only thing that's real are the metals, because they've seen these monkey show. I mean, and they've taken it to a whole new level in this country. There's no doubt about it. The United States, thank you, Sharon. Wow. I'll be back in the basement next time you see me, although I said that this morning. I didn't intend on doing this live stream, so thank you. Man, you guys are super generous. But they've screwed it up now to the point like we've never seen before in history. Sorry, I got to take a drink. But this has been done before, okay? The Romans did it, the British did it, the Dutch did it. That's the thing, like we feel like, oh, it could never happen. The wheels are never going to come off the bus, because since we've been alive, the wheels have never completely come off the bus. But if we broaden our time horizon and look at history, this has happened so many times, over and over. I don't want to keep talking about Lynette Zhang, but she's got a pile of worthless paper money she likes to hold up. I think she said there's been like 4,000 different fiat currencies that have come and gone. Is this one going to come and go? You know it's going to come and go. There's absolutely no doubt about it, okay? I don't know. It's just, it's be prepared. We don't know for sure when it's going to happen. We know that it is going to happen. We don't know when it's going to happen. What I'm talking about is some very difficult times. Look, we've got the big BRICS meetings coming up. You know, that could be a catalyst for some major events. Maybe a nothing burger, right? Maybe it's like Y2K. Remember Y2K? Man, I was like 28 years old. I remember that period leading up to Y2K, and it was a big deal. You know, the world was going to end, and people were buying gold. I wish I'd been buying gold. I think it got down to like $300 around that time frame. That's when I first learned about gold. Silver, unfortunately, didn't buy it. But, right, that came and went as a complete nothing burger. Maybe the BRICS thing will be a complete nothing burger. I don't know. We're going to find out here, right, within the next 2 weeks. But we know one thing for sure. Look, I appreciate all you guys being here. I appreciate all the thumbs up. You don't know how much you mean to me. Thank you. Okay? This is a big part of my life. You're a big part of my life. So I do appreciate you guys. In the spur of the moment on a Saturday afternoon, Susie's going to come barreling in here any minute now, and I'm going to have to end the live stream. But it's a big deal that you've joined me. I appreciate it. You know, but it feels like, right, like everything's fine. Everything. I heard Danielle Camboni talking to a guest the other day, like, we're in this period where, like, we know everything's really screwed up, but everything's kind of fine. I've heard CoinShop Chris talk about it's like we're in the eye of a hurricane, and the second part of a hurricane is always the most powerful. Is that what we're dealing with right now? You know, it can get ugly really quick. The system is so, I love these two words, and I made this up, okay? Delicate and fragile. And things that are delicate and fragile can still continue to function, but it doesn't take a lot, right? And we've seen how the Fed freaks now when the smallest little things happen. If they have to respond immediately. Why do you think they want to put you onto a CBDC, right? So they can control you even more, no doubt about that, but also so they can manipulate temporarily this economy at an even faster pace than they've been able to over the last months, quarters, and years, right? When they want to print, they don't have to print anymore. They just push and boom, poof, instant, right? They can distribute whatever they need to distribute to calm down the masses. I mean, maybe, right, if people are getting angry and protesting, they can say, oh, we can send them out a couple, you know, couple thousand, whatever they want to call it, Biden bucks or whatever. I don't know. Look, I know, it's just, I got off track there. Let's circle back to the metals, right? Like when you shake up a bottle that's got some dirt in it with some water and you shake it up and it's all muddy, when it all settles, right, when it's all clear, we know silver and gold have such great value. That's the big thing. And when we look at the world's biggest institutional investor, the world's biggest, okay, what are they doing, right? What are they saying? We're not going to pay attention to that, but what are they doing with their own money? And we do know, right, that they put a small portion, but a portion into physical silver, right? We know last year we had somebody bought $50 million worth of silver. Everybody says it was from the Walton family. I mean, you know, we know that the big money is buying up the precious metals. We know that part of the world that's not the United States and Europe, all the rest of the world that's working to get away from the dollar, working to put an end to what they think is an unfair system, that they're buying silver, they're buying gold, they're buying platinum, right? Right? Bidenomics. Okay. I have a new term I made up, and this is not a political show, so I'm not putting down Joe Biden at all, okay? But I don't think it's Bidenomics. It's Biden tricks, because it's all a bunch of tricks. That's all it is. I want to repeat this. They're spending $1.4 trillion per year, more than they bring in, and all we can get, right? They're pushing the throttle as hard as it'll go, and that, guys, is a bad sign. All we can get is 2.4% growth. You're going to tell me we're in good, solid shape? Hello, Adrian. Hello, Shadow Work. Hello, Sharon. Yeah, guys, if you give this a thumbs up, it really helps get the word out, and it makes me happy, okay? You probably want to see me smile. All right. Oh, I don't want to go, but I got to go, okay? I will be back. I don't know about tomorrow. It's going to be a big travel day. But I want you guys to be safe. I wanted to share this thoughts I had about BlackRock, because BlackRock gets all this attention, and then somebody brought up, well, yeah, they're into Bitcoin now. They love Bitcoin. They don't love Bitcoin, right? Here, this bears repeating. Then I'll leave. This is funny. This is funny. If you were on this morning, you heard me say it already. All right, I got to go. Here's Susie. Everybody, take care, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay? Hold on. I got time to say this funny thing. Bear with me. Hold on. Current day live stream, crypto. This is from one of the crypto kings on Twitter. Crypto T said, Bitcoin is valuable because it's not backed by anything. Such a simple idea, but so hard for people to grasp. If something's backed by a government, that means you have to trust them not to steal it. And then they say money backed by nothing, referring to crypto, means there's nothing to steal. Come on, man. All right, guys, take it easy. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. I'm going to see you soon. Be good to yourself. And I hope you have a good night. Thank you.